What up, though, people? It's your man, Prof. We back with the first episode of Let's Talk About It. So I got the first guest. I know him personally, so we go by Low 14. That's what I call him, Low. But give him your government name.
Man, it's Lawrence Simmons in the building. Facebook got me as Low Simmons. Low 14 Films, sound by DJ Low. The Game Changer Education. What's up?
Man, you wear a lot of hats.
I got this one on. Shout out to my boys, Detroit Certified in the building.
For sure.
What's going on?
Man, we just chilling, man. And just what this show is more of a one-on-one podcast. And I'm big on giving people their flowers while they're here. So you had a lot of accomplishments, and I think we should celebrate them, talk about them, spread the word to people that don't know about them.
All right, I'm with that.
So I'm thinking we should start from the beginning. So if I didn't know you and somebody asks, who is Low, what would you tell them?
Man, I pretty much tell them, real human being, honest guy, somebody that likes to work hard, pretty much serving at heart. Came from this two-parent home, which has some unique dynamics. Dad was a robotics mechanic. Mom was a social worker, master's degree, University of Michigan. And they sent me through whatever they thought I needed to be a part of. So
that's good. You had a good foundation.
I feel I had a good, solid foundation.
So where you from?
Pretty diverse. Inktown, Inkster, Michigan. Okay, up in the building.
Okay, you had to make sure you put that out there. You got to let people know where you're from. Because, we need that representation. Because it's kids from Inkster that can see this or hear this and be like, okay, he from where I'm from. So that's motivation for him. You know what I mean? Shout out to the new mayor, too, Mayor Wimberly. Shout out. That's my guy.
Dough, Butter? I know him as Butter.
That's your man.
My bad.
Yeah, cool. So coming up in Inkster, what about coming up in Inkster and with the two-parent household molded you as to who you are now?
Inkster was cool. Went to grade school all the way up to fourth grade, went up to Daly. And then my parents had a different plan for me. But as far as just moving around in the neighborhood, it wasn't nothing too crazy. I ain't had to dodge the crack man or nothing crazy. Wasn't getting my starter jacket taken. I had 3 older brothers, still got them. But, they went to more of the public schools, the Rovershaws and stuff. And like I say, being in Inkster, my parents had a different vision for me. They sent me to them private schools. They shipped me out to them folks in Dearborn, out to Sacred Heart. Shout out to Sacred Heart Shamrocks. Okay. And after that is the same school I went to where I know you from.
Yeah, Southgate acquaintance for sure.
What up, though?
So what do you think, in your opinion, the private school experience did for you?
It definitely gave me exposure, man, because, I wasn't like this real brilliant, A student and who was really excelling and was like, oh, let's take his talents elsewhere. I think my parents just had a vision of diversity and wanted to get me to a place where I had never been, predominantly black schools, obviously, in Inkster. Not saying we didn't have, other races, but, the Dearborn situation was pretty eye-opening. I mean, I was the only chocolate chip in the room. Okay. Black person, just politically
kind of a
correct.
Shock?
Well, no, one of my best friends, a couple of guys across the street from me was some white dudes. Them was my buddies, the Patricks. But the culture shock to me was just the exposure of what their parents did.
Yeah.
Because their parents did like some amazing jobs. Like one of my homeboys, his dad worked at the news station, and then another guy, one of my buddies, his dad actually worked for the Detroit Tigers.
Dope.
Now, you think his job as an usher was something like, oh, man, that ain't nothing to be proud of. But, he gets you in the dugout where you meet your access. Tiger favorites, you meet
definitely get access
Lou
with
Whitakers and Alan Trammels.
Cool. That's dope. That's dope. So what about your experience at Acquaintance as far as high school? Because I went there for 2 years, and I noticed that when I got there, it was probably 7 to 8 black kids in our class. So it was definitely different for me coming from a 80-20 school, which was like 80% black, 20% white, and then coming to that, it was like the flip.
Yeah. Hold on, let me fix you up real quick because you're right, this mic is heavy in the game. But no, as far as like the whole Aquinas thing, I found out about Aquinas from, I had an older cousin who had went there. He had tried basketball, but if you asked him, it didn't work out real good. But I ended up playing for his coach because, we played for Ernie Price. But I found out about this school from some of my other buddies, who went to Sacred Heart, and they were Inkster kids. And it just kind of made sense for me to go to school with them. I got a ride, Yeah, that but it made sense for me to go to school with them. And then, obviously, that basketball situation really worked out. And that was like what we eventually became known for. But as far as like a lot of black kids, it wasn't a lot, but it was enough of us to, really
To be comfortable.
Yeah, we was cool, man. Ain't nobody really bother us. We had some things that happened if we get real talk about it, but other than that,
sugarcoating
it was cool. This is the real ish.
You already know, so ain't no sense of sugarcoating. So I understand incidents happen. You know what I'm saying? That's life.
Yeah.
But you come into that, and that dynamic is different. You know what I mean? And it pretty much we all stuck together when I got there. When I say like the 2 years, it was almost like, I wouldn't say us against them, but you could see it was segregated.
Oh yeah, the lunchroom was definitely
Clearly.
segregated.
Oh
Man, the lunchroom was definitely segregated. I mean, and it wasn't no shade on nobody. It just was kind of like how you maneuvered and who you hung out with, because they wasn't capping. Wasn't nobody clowning nobody.
Wasn't no,
but the brothers, we was definitely capping.
Oh yeah, we was on each other's heads. It definitely wasn't no disrespect like that. But it's definitely a different dynamic, because when I was coming out of 8th grade, I had different options to go to different schools.
Right.
Because I was pretty much getting recruited, you know what I'm saying? So my mother's was like, well, you never been to private school, give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? It was different. Like, it was an adjustment. It definitely was an adjustment from where I came from. But it was cool. I don't have no ill wills about it. But I know having both was good, like balance. Because you know what I'm saying? You know how to maneuver through different situations and around different people. I know that was a big thing I took from Aquinas.
It's a balance. I think from a structure standpoint, as far as like the teachers and the expectations, and if you really look about who educated you and their backgrounds, they gave you some of that. Mr. Sislow, as far as like with the wood shop, I thought that was dope because he worked at Sears, once he left the school. He had that background working in the tool department. Or you had people as far as like your gym teachers, kind of like, I'm trying to think, who was my gym teacher, just to think about it. But anyway, that's a long time ago, man. You're talking about 20 plus years. And
well, if we're going to tell your story, we got to go through it.
I guess we got to go through it. But I really look at that school as far as what you learn structure-wise. I mean, some of my favorite teachers was Miss Fischetti. She still talk to us, a lot of us students today. We go and actually have like lunch once a month. Well, I should say breakfast once a month.
That's cool.
On the Saturdays, so it's real human beings there. And then my government class was real dope too. I can't remember who that teacher was, but it was to the point where I used to have to watch the news with a world globe in front of me. So those y'all kids out there, I had a physical globe that I used to have to turn.
Yeah,
and when the world news said find Iran, Iraq, or find Libya, you kind of like had to, okay, let me find this, find Egypt, find South Africa, find, Guatemala. Like you had to really like turn and look at them little. Them letters was little.
Yeah, man.
On them globes.
Definitely.
Yeah, no Google search.
It definitely had some memorable teachers. One of my favorites was Miss Urbanic. She passed on, but that was my girl there. And I had a gym teacher, Mr. Menzel. He came way after y'all was gone.
Okay.
He was super cool. We actually reconnected on Facebook. So I had, like I said, I don't have like ill about him. There's some things that happen there that I never let go. That's just me personally. But I learned a lot too in the process. You know what I'm saying? I think the skill set, even like sports wise, I learned different things there, and then I brought it to the next school I went to. So I took a bit of everything and molded it into what it was.
Yeah, I mean, they sports programs was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I started off with cross country. That was my first season because we had to run you had to run cross country.
That's a myth, right?
What?
That you got to run cross country or play football.
That's what they told us.
No, they tricked
what
y'all.
You mean?
I played.
We had to,
bro.
They didn't give us a choice.
No, it was a lie. They made it seem like you had to play a fall sport to play a winter sport. That's a lie. I played 4 years varsity basketball. That's it. That's all I played in high school. I never played football. I never ran across.
You had the cheat code. They told me. So
they were doing.
Eron Mitchell and Antoine
this
Campbell.
This they were doing. No, it was a trick to have y'all in shape for basketball. That's all that was.
Coach Price, you getting a call from me.
They made it seem like it was mandatory. I'm just super militant, but I would fucking revolt against anything. Man, I'm not doing that. And no, you didn't have to, but they made it seem like it was a prerequisite to play basketball, and it wasn't. Even when I transferred, they tried to run the same game. I said, no, you don't. I swear.
Well, shout out to my rest in peace to my track coach, and I didn't do track, but he did cross country. Rich Madura, man, he was really good guy who really pushed me. I remember my freshman year, we used to be bulling. Me, Eron, shout out to Eron Antoine Campbell. We used to be playing around, man, and not really trying to run serious. And then he pretty much challenged me, man, you want to compete with these guys? And I lettered for varsity my sophomore year. So that kind of gave me a taste of what the big boys was doing.
That's what's up.
It actually brought out a little competitiveness in me, and just kind of going from there.
I think sports is huge as far as just learning different structure, learning how to work with others, and then even on, like you say, just being competitive. Like, I don't care if we playing tic-tac-toe. I'm trying to win.
You better.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what sports instill in you. You know what I'm saying? We don't play for fun, because if we was playing for fun, why would you keep score?
Why would you keep scoring?
Exactly. So
yeah.
I'll never be the participation trophy type of dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I know, like, on everybody's block, I mean, you started off with just running, like, from this line in the street to that red
Don't get some new shoes. You swear you faster. Don't get a new pair of kicks. You swear you faster than everybody with some new kicks on.
Oh, man.
But that was the game.
In trouble when you get in the crib.
Scuffed them up. You out there hooping on the crate in your brand new shoes.
You already know. That was supposed to last you for the school
That's the
year.
life in the neighborhood, though. That's just how that roll.
No, but you're right. The structure in sports does make a lot of sense. One of the things sports taught me is those P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. And
Facts.
I honestly use a sports approach to what I do, in life. I played, like I said, cross country, played baseball, and did the basketball thing. And obviously, I had some success with the basketball. Like yourself, man. We 2 state champions sitting here.
Everybody can't say that.
Everybody can't say that.
Everybody can't say that. Yeah.
Everybody.
And you had an undefeated one.
We had an undefeated, but
we was close. We was 27-1.
Yeah, but man, you played with some legends, man. You really, y'all did y'all thing, man.
Man, that was a great 2 years, great back to back, man. It's probably one of the best feelings of my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That definitely ain't nothing like that feeling of winning that last game, like at the Breslin Center, 20 points, 22 rebounds. Can't take that away from you.
You played at the Bread. See, we was the last class to play at the Palace.
At the Palace, then they switched it. They switched it to Lansing, So that's definitely, we got multiple things in common. We talk about filming, photography, music. So it's almost like.
And we've been rocking. Like, I might be a couple years older than you, but we've been rocking.
Yeah, so much when I was, 15, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So that was almost 25 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to your Uncle Jeff, dog.
Yeah. I was on the phone with him earlier today. That's funny. I was on the phone with him earlier today.
Yeah, definitely.
Work on this website for him. But yeah, man, it's been a journey. And then, like, it's cool that we can see each other moves and growth. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like, how did you get into, I know, this is another avenue, but how did you get into the DJing?
The DJ, man, it just kind of happened. I always tell my DJ story like, yo, I'm old school 90s hip hop. I loved everything. Former breakdance when I was a kid. We used to go to the refrigerator, like the appliance stores, and grab the little cardboard. Let me get 2 refrigerator boxes. Go grab Dad's duct tape, split that boy in the back, flip it over. You got a full surface. Then we had the kangaroo pouch as far as the little whatever jogging suits. Used to battle and take them boys and watch them movies, Beat Street and Breaking. But like sonically, my brother used to DJ. I was probably like 12, 11, and then he used to always scratch. He had Technique 1200s. They still exist. And then he used to put a little nickel on his little records just so it wouldn't skip. So when he was going at work, I'd go in my grandmother's basement. I'd go mess up his records, get caught. Who scratched this? Blah, 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 get yelled at. And, I just kind of fell in love with the whole DJ thing. Like, as I got older, went to college, you had parties or you would go hang out in Canada, the Don Cherries, and I was always near the DJ booth. They was always high up. You couldn't just go ask them, yo, what you playing? Mm-hmm. But just, DJs run the party. It's
what? It's another thing from sports. You used to be in the showing in front of the crowd. It's all the same. It's all the same. It's just a different avenue. You know what I'm saying? So now, doing the DJing, how did you get into the film? Did it just happen, or was something else you just were interested?
Film happened before DJ. And the film story is funny. I'm glad you asked. Shout out to me. No. But the film story is kind of funny because, I talked about them 2 parents growing up in the house. Mm-hmm. Mom's had the 35 millimeter camera, and I ain't gonna front. It wasn't like I was grabbing the camera taking flicks. We had the little Polaroid joint where you take pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
So you kind of might get a little bit of an eye. But I think when my dad bought that video camera, which he used to film me, like in '86, as far as when I was in 6th grade for the basketball tip. But what he didn't, well, he probably knew. But what I used to do is I used to take his tripod camera and I used to rebroadcast like Piston games and something. Because, you got the VCR, you can tape them. Mm-hmm. And then I used to like film myself because I thought, ESPN, I would say to myself, I want to be a sports broadcaster.
Okay.
And it wasn't really nothing I manifested or spoke out loud because remember, you had traditional parents. They like, you go to school, get a job, you pick a career through a thick ass book, and this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish at the time if I could talk to a younger self.
Yeah.
Or had a parent, not saying they ain't had no vision, no shade on my parents, but they just wasn't push to allow your kids to do this because it was like everybody was following it. Like I was supposed to work at the plant. I was like, oh, Dad, I ain't about to work at the plant. I just knew that wasn't.
But that's all they knew.
That's all they knew.
It's a system. It's been a system. Just think about school. You go to school for 8 hours and an hour lunch. Same as work. They preparing you to be workers.
Yeah.
So that's all they knew. They wasn't being wrong. But like me personally, I got into wanting to be an entrepreneur. It was like 96. And I was working at.
Oh yeah, I couldn't even spell entrepreneur in 96. Y'all I ain't gonna even
working for my uncle. He had he was the general manager of the Avis Rent a Car in Troy in the Doubletree Suites. So I'm working for him for the summer. I'm 16. I get a check. My check $1,000. Back then you could file exempt.
Oh,
because you're a full-time student. So I got $1,000 check. I'm like, hell yeah.
He claimed that zero, y'all.
Yeah, for sure. Hell yeah. So, but I'm saying, but my point is, I had $1,000. I'm thinking I'm doing something, right? So he showed me his check. His check was $10,000. He said, "This is the difference between an employer and an employee." Okay. And that was the day I never went to work again. Okay. 16 years old. That was my mindset. The seeing that he was making the money, and pretty much we were doing the work. Right. He was the supervisor. You know what I'm saying? So that made me always want to work for myself. And then I like the flip of it is I like that I take my daughter to school, pick her up every day. You know what I'm saying? I like the freedom. I like that I ain't got to call off if I want to go out of town. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But once you get it to where we can be at that point. But that was the reason. That's what started 1996, the summer.
Well, it makes sense. Just kind of still thinking about that whole film situation. I gotta find this footage. I would love to insert it into cut right here. Anyway, man, I was like 10. And I did this rendition of Paul Revere, the Beastie Boys. My brother's in the background beatboxing, and you got me doing all this stuff. Now, here's a little story. And so we filmed that, and that was the highlight of the family. You go around and take your tape to different people's cribs, and you'll show, hey, auntie, let me pop this in. And so that was my YouTube, or that was how I was getting views, at different family events. Like straight up, I would carry this tape. Ma, can I put the tape in? Go ahead. Otherwise, we come from those days where people used to be, boy, go ahead and dance for the family and do a little something. That was like entertainment. Mm-hmm. But the film tip really started in 2011, man. I was working down at Henry Ford Health System, and then the job ended. It kind of ended abruptly, but I stayed within the system and found something else to do. But man, I took kind of the money I had because I was making good money, and I ended up just taking that money and purchasing a camera. I used to see.
Thanks for checking out that portion of the podcast. To hear it in its entirety, go to your favorite podcast app. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Apple Podcasts. Just search Real Ish Radio. Make sure you subscribe so you can get an alert every time we drop a new episode.